Yo, what's up guys? You're back with your man TechNick, your go-to guy for videos on the latest tech. Now today, it is about the latest tech since the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus is pretty much the hottest phone out right now, and against the Redmi K20 Pro, which literally costs a quarter of the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, around $250 as opposed to $1,100. Both of them are paired with the latest Snapdragon 855 processing chip, as well as the Note 10 Plus, since this is indeed the Hong Kong variant. The Redmi has 8 gigs of RAM, while the Samsung has 12 gigs of RAM, since that is the only version that it comes in. Both of them have awesome AMOLED screens, and because of those, we're going to go ahead and turn off animations because the UIs on these systems are very different, so we've turned them off both. And I've also enabled Full HD Plus mode on the Galaxy Note 10 Plus to keep things as even as possible. We'll be pairing it with my GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner, so keep an eye out on that. Both of these phones are absolute monsters, guys, so without further ado, let's go! So guys, we're going to start over here in round 0. Make sure you take a look at the left and the right of the screen, as well as the bottom left hand corner for the updates on the GoPro footage to see how even things are. With the boot test, the Redmi K20 Pro took that point over there, and then refreshing the apps as soon as we open up the phone, the Redmi takes that once again, since it booted all of the apps a lot quicker. Now we're going to go ahead and test out the fingerprint sensors, and we have an optical one on the Redmi, and we have a ultrasonic one on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Though they are different, the Samsung does tend to feel quicker in everyday use, but it seems like the K20 is doing it over here, and the Note 10 Plus takes this tie over here at the end, but the Redmi K20 Pro gets best out 2 out of 3 in the wins department there, so they get an extra point in round 0. Now the facial recognition over here, the Redmi does have a pop-up, so what I've done is I have unlocked both the devices and then slid up on the Redmi K20 Pro, and then as soon as it is slid up, I put my face in the way and see what we get. The K20 Pro takes that one, though the Note 10 Plus took the first one, so we're going to go ahead and test out the last one over here and see who gets the best out of 3, and the Note 10 Plus gets best 2 out of 3, so they get their first points in round 0. We're going to make sure that all of our apps are closed in the background, and they are indeed, so we're going to do round 1 from camera down to PUBG mobile, and then PUBG all the way back up to camera in round 2. So round 1 here, we're going to open up our camera interface over here, and yes, we do have a pop-up over there, so that's why the Note 10 Plus took that point. We have double the points on the K20 Pro so far, 2 points and 1 point on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. You guys want to focus on what says round 1 on the left and right of either device over here. Also bear in mind that bottom right hand corner, I have set a timer over there so that you guys can keep in with the trend of how long each round does indeed take, in case you guys want to skip over and go to the RAM test in round 2. So now, after opening up all of our system apps over here, we're going to go on to Spotify, and so far things are pretty even. Opening up Spotify, the K20 Pro takes that point over there, surprising. And guys, I really cannot start to justify how incredibly cheap the K20 Pro is compared to the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. And yes, they do have the exact same 855 processing chip in it. Like I said, guys, this is not the Exynos variant since it comes from Hong Kong, and the USA and China both get Snapdragon variants and not the Exynos chip, though it would have been nice to see the new Exynos chip go down in a battle against another phone or the previous Exynos chips found in the Galaxy S10 Plus and S10. So now moving on to some social media apps over here and going into YouTube here, we have almost double the points on the K20 Pro, and there we go, we do 10 points in round 1 for the K20 Pro and 5 points in round 1 for the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. This is really surprising, since you would think that such a much more expensive phone would fare quite well in this test, though it is getting knocked out the water by the K20 Pro. Now I know that the new Redmi Note 8 Pro has recently released, but that has a very different, I would say, processing chip in it, since it's quite a budget-friendly processing chip. It's not necessarily the best chip around. It's pretty much between the Snapdragon 730 chip, which is a mid-range chip, and the 845 chip, the flagship chip of last year. So bear that in mind, guys. That's why I didn't include that in the test. I know that that is a very hot phone right now, but I do think that the K20 Pro is a better buy, even though it's a little bit more. It's not much more expensive, and it comes with a lot more power packed in, and that wonderful notchless display. Also have that hole punch notch style at the top of the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. Where Samsung always tend to win is in the camera department, the waterproofing, all the features that you usually get, as well as the headphone jack, though we're lacking that here. The good thing about it though is that we do have that QHD panel. Unfortunately, they are both locked to 60 Hz, so we are not seeing anything more than 60 FPS while running the speed test over here. I must say the screen on the Galaxy Note 10 Plus cannot be beaten by any other phone practically ever, until the next range of Samsung S-Line devices come out the beginning of next year. But so far this looks looks absolutely stunning. It has almost no borders around it as compared to the K20 Pro. As you guys can see here, we just have that little camera hole punch notch at the top there. So in the games over here, you guys can see we have 7 points ahead on the K20 Pro as opposed to the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. It is absolutely crushing it. We're going into Temple Run here, and I'm going to wait until it gets to that Temple Run load screen in order to allocate a point to see which one was indeed quicker. And as you guys can see, the Redmi K20 Pro pulls it up first. Now, if you guys are wondering how I do this test, I do go through it app by app, and I slow down my editing in Premiere Pro CC, and I slow it down like 3 or 4 times to check it over and over to make sure I'm allocating the point correctly, as well as checking out my GoPro footage in the bottom left corner to see I'm accurately pressing them at the same time. Now, this is PUBG Mobile, pretty much the most graphically intense game you can play on an Android, and as everyone knows that does play this game, it does take a hell of a long time in order to get to that main menu there. So we actually have, fortunately for the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, ending off strong over there, opening up PUBG slightly quicker than the K20 Pro, though it was still 7 points behind in round 1. So it'll be really interesting to see how things go in round 2 here, since Xiaomi are known for bad app management, RAM management that is. This is not so much a RAM management test to see which one holds the most amount of apps open in round 2 here. We're going to go from PUBG to camera, but more so to see which one reopens the app quicker, since this is a speed test and not a RAM management test. If you guys would like to see a RAM management test between 12, 8 and 6 gigs of RAM, you guys should go have a look at that on my channel, because that definitely shows you that the difference between 12 gigs of RAM and 8 gigs of RAM is not that much, but between 6 and 8 is significant. So now with the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, we do have 12 gigs of RAM here, which is 4 gigs more than the Redmi K20 Pro, but the K20 Pro is opening apps up a lot better, so it seems like their RAM management is doing quite well. We also have UFS 3.0 storage in the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, as where in the K20 Pro we only have 2.1, so things are naturally snappier, well, you would say, on the Note 10 Plus, but that doesn't seem to be the case even when flicking through things in storage. So going into YouTube, things were a tie over there. Opening up Twitter over here, it was pretty close, but the Note 10 Plus took that one. With the social media apps, it seems like the K20 Pro's bad app management from Xiaomi is working against it here, and the Galaxy Note 10 Plus is racking up some points over here, putting it at 7 points, well now 8 points, just 1 point behind the K20 Pro, now 2 points behind since we turned off Astral VPN a lot quicker on the K20 Pro. Now we're going to run through the last little bit on system apps over here, and the Galaxy Note 10 Plus took that since it didn't have to reopen it. It seems like Xiaomi have problems with reopening system apps once opening up too many apps because of poor RAM management, as you guys can see here, but we did have gallery open there, though it just did something funny when opening it up, and the camera was facing the wrong way in the K20 Pro, which means it was closed. So the Galaxy took that point in round 2 and squashed the K20 Pro in round 2 with an extra 4 points, thanks to that wonderful 12 gigs of RAM and UFS 3.0 storage. So now guys, the total scores over here, the K20 Pro actually beat the Galaxy Note 10 Plus by 5 points. I was really surprised by this, since the K20 Pro is so much cheaper than the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I must say that with both the same chipsets, there's literally no reason to get the Galaxy Note 10 Plus unless you want that wonderful, beautiful screen and those epic cameras, which haven't been changed in a while, I must add. These are both amazing phones to say the least, guys, and until next time, this is TechNick.